Hey, y'all, happy Friday. Happy Friday. Welcome in the building for Trending Topics Friday. We keeping the title a little simple tonight. It's called Wake Up. I'm glad to see y'all in the building. Don't forget, hit the like button. I'm so happy and excited that y'all decided to spend part of your Friday night with the Diva. So all I need y'all to do is hit that like button, please. Hit the like button. Diva working, and I need y'all to hit the like button. And listen, to all my loyals out there, I see y'all. I know who y'all are, and I do appreciate y'all for coming back. And remember, we don't always have to agree. We can agree to disagree, but I love y'all for always coming back and giving Diva a chance. So now we got to talk tonight. We got to talk tonight because the title is called Wake Up. Stay woke. Wake up. Wake up, because over here, even though, listen, I love y'all, but y'all be giving me concussions, black eyes, y'all be cutting me, y'all be kicking me, y'all abuse me. Yes, y'all do. Y'all abuse me, but I take it and I still come back. Y'all do. Because I told you over here, but see, y'all got to wait till it come out in print before y'all even partially believe the Diva. We over here, we try to give y'all forward thinking. We give y'all the information, the rules, the story before everybody else get it. Listen, I ain't gonna pat myself on the back, but I'm one of the best kept secrets on YouTube. Yes, I am. You better spread the word. The best kept secret. And why do I say that? I say that because Diddy's lawyers are now pushing for him to get bail. Yeah, they are. For the third time. And you say, Diva, we already know that. But you know what they doing? They citing the recent cases of all these other criminals that did similar crimes like Diddy, and they in the streets. And we told you that the minute Mike Jeffries from Abercrombie and Fitch went into the jail, got his mugshot, and walked out the same day on $10 million bail and an ankle bracelet, I told y'all that was going to happen. Not because I think Diddy is so innocent. No, this is neutral over here with the Diva. But because I told you it's something called due process. I don't know why we are okay when a black person gets railroaded and everybody else gets due process. Not only that, when they filed for him to get bail again today, you know what they cited? The guy from Abercrombie and Fitch partner was threatening witnesses, and he's out on $500K. Are y'all catching this? He was tampering with witnesses. The same thing they said the dangerous Diddy couldn't come out in these streets for, because he was tampering with witnesses and he called the witness 56 times. This man that worked with Mike Jeffries, that was his partner, his lover, was tampering with the witnesses. And he's on the streets with a $500K bail. Figure that one out. Wake up, people. Because today is Diddy to marvel it's our cousin, our uncle, our brother, our friend, our lover that they're doing dirty. So his lawyer said, excuse me, people, and I'm paraphrasing, of course, excuse me. And they're not even going through old cases, because you can cite any case when you go and talk about the law. They coming up with recent cases saying, how is this man in the streets and our client is not? Make that make sense. But I've been telling y'all this for weeks, but okay, it's in print now, so we're going to talk about it. Let me throw another little nugget out there for y'all. Do you not find it interesting that they keep throwing in our face and you can't go to sleep and wake up without hearing a Diddy story that is super salacious? You can't do it. But when we heard about Mike Jeffries, we heard about it and poof, we ain't hear nothing else. Do you not think these people don't have stories? Do you not think that they went through similar woes? They told us in that lawsuit straight up, in the Mike Jeffries lawsuit, that they had security at the door and you couldn't leave until Mike Jeffries and his partner said, open the door and let them go because we done with them. They said straight up in the lawsuit that they would inject them with Viagra so that their body parts would work and be up and ready so they could do whatever they wanted to do with them. Yes, they did. You don't think these people got some salacious stories? Sure they do. But they ain't gonna let them hit the streets. No, they're not. They're not going to let them hit the streets because they're not going to let you know that this man is a monster. They're not going to taint his image. So by the time he go to court, if he go to court, he'll get a fair trial in the jury. Why? Because you don't got 2,000 stories out there about him. There was a whole documentary on Netflix about Mike Jeffries and Abercrombie and Fitch. Yes, it was. But see, over here we talk, and I don't know who's guilty or innocent, and that ain't what I'm dealing with here. What I'm dealing with is let's have due process and equal justice. That man, and he didn't go to New York to turn himself in. They went to where he was at, and they had to get him. That's what they did. Yes, they did. They went and they got him. And you know what they said? He can show up to the Southern District of New York when he feel like it. Where they do that at? When he feel like it. That's what they said. He'll get there. How many weeks later and he still ain't go to New York? He chilling. He gonna be home with his family for Thanksgiving. He gonna be home with his family for Christmas. And his trial will probably be in 2039 when he's 99. All I'm asking for, people, is due justice, equal justice. Mike Jeffries got out on $10 million. His partner $500K. Diddy offered $50 million. Diddy asked for a gag order. Mike Jeffries ain't have to ask for no gag order, because probably every story that can possibly come out about him is getting blocked. Let's talk tonight. We're going to talk. Buckle your seatbelts and remember, if you catching the diva train, catch the train, don't catch feelings. And if you got a point, stand your ground, because I'm going to stand mine. And remember, when the panel speaks, it's their opinion and they got a right to speak, and I ain't going to stop them. Now, let's talk about our next topic. It's shocking and not shocking at the same time. After Tuesday, a lot of Black people got a text talking about you need to pack your bags because they're coming to get you to take you to the plantation. I'm not making this up, people. A lot of Black people, teenagers, grade school, were getting texts talking about you got to report to the plantation. What will always be shocking to me, and don't ask me why, is why just the color of our skin. We all bleed the same. We all gotta eat. We all gotta use the bathroom. I don't understand why the color of our skin, people really do hate us. Just because the color of our skin. Can't we all just get along? Yeah, they said, get ready, pack your bags. You going back to the plantation. You going to pick cotton. In real time, for real, I know someone who this has happened to. They got that text. And if y'all been following me for a while, my son is in his second year of college, and I can't even believe how time flies so fast. But if you remember his last year of high school, because the iPhones, and this is the first time I heard about it, like, when it happened to my son, you can airdrop a message to somebody or whatever that is. Your iPhone people know that I'm Android for life, okay? But the iPhone, somebody airdropped a message to him saying something about a monkey. It was horrible. And whatever else they said, and he was in high school. So this is about 2 years ago. And now here we are talking about go back to the plantation. Shocking. But we got to talk about it. And I need the people to wake up. And I need also people to know that if you look like me, you got male family members, you have got to educate, and you have got to pray like nobody's business, because it is serious. The plantation, they got a text message. And so there are these phone companies that allow you to get a number, and it's like anonymous. It never ties back to you. So these individuals, whoever did that, they bought a list of people's names and certain demographics, right? Because nobody that was non-Black got the text. So there was a lot of information about you that these people purchased to make sure they were sending that message to a Black person. Sad. But we're going to talk tonight. We're going to educate tonight, because you got to stay safe. You got to stay woke. And you got to understand and realize that, unfortunately, we came this far, but every time we come this far, I feel like we take 9,900 steps backwards. And to hear that a situation like that is happening already is scary and crazy. But we're going to talk about it. Listen, guys, it's Friday night. We're going to have a conversation. I appreciate y'all being here. Don't forget, hit the like button. All right. Y'all know what I need in the chat because I'm about to pull the people and bring the people on in the building. I need a what? I need a choo choo. Hold aboard, everybody. It is Friday night trending topics, and the title is Wake Up. I need y'all to wake up. Stay woke. Okay? We're talking about Diddy's lawyers pushing for bail. And when we talk about this, I want y'all to understand. It's not about, oh, Diva, he's a monster. Oh, Diva, listen, something happened. But we got to get to what that something is. But in the meantime, we got to do due process. You got two men out that got similar crimes like Diddy, and they free, and he's not. We want some due process here, okay? Then you got these shocking racist texts. I'm going to bring the people on in the building. Hold on now, everybody. Hey, Savannah.
Hey, Diva.
Hey, Katrina.
Hey, Diva. Hey, Chair. Hey, panel. Choo, choo, choo.
Choo-choo-choo. Hey, Felicia. Hey, in my opinion. Hey, Mr. Hobson. Hey, everybody.
Hey.
Listen. Hey. Listen, people. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to do this first story. Our first story is going to be about Diddy and them asking the courts one more time for bail. We're going to see how this thing goes down. Everybody mute themselves while I go through the story. We're going to see how this thing goes down because it's going to be interesting. Because how do you now say no when you set a precedent that other people in real time with similar crimes are walking the streets? Let's get into this. So Diddy's lawyers asked for bail again. They cite other cases where defendants were released. So Diddy once again trying to get out of jail, waiting while awaiting his trial, filing a new motion on Friday asking for bail and pointing to cases where his lawyers claim defendants facing similar charges were released. According to the legal docs obtained by TMZ, the music mogul's lawyers say Diddy's offering a comprehensive bail package, complete with a $50 million bond and basically round-the-clock surveillance to ensure he doesn't try to flee the country or intimidate witnesses. It's a similar argument to the one they made back in September when his bail was shot down twice. But the attorneys cite other cases where they say defendants accused of similar crimes were allowed to post bail while awaiting trial. For example, one case involved a CEO accused of sex trafficking dozens of young men, along with an accomplice who allegedly intimidated witnesses. In that case, Diddy lawyers say the government asked for a $10 million bond and a $500K bond, respectively, which was far less than the $50 million bail package Diddy's offering in his case. Making matters worse, Diddy's still locked up in the MDC Brooklyn after he's been repeatedly denied bail. With a judge ruling, the government has proven the defendant is a danger. As you know, the feds charged Diddy with racketeering, sex trafficking, and transportation to engage in prostitution. His trial is currently set for next May, so May of 2025. You know, there's another thing that in this world where, unfortunately, when they see a Black person, they automatically think scary, criminal, a danger to society. Savannah, what are your thoughts on this situation?
Diva, at this point, I'm going to be blaming the Department of Justice on this because there's clearly a inevitable miscarriage of justice. We have how many people walking free with similar crimes, and the only difference that I'm seeing now is pigmentation. I cannot see, even with the Harvey Weinstein's and the this Abercrombie and Fitch story. It just gets more and more. It seems there's more information on that one than the whole Diddy case. But it's just as twisted and as evil and as um, inhumane as anything that we've heard come out of South Florida, LA, New York as well. And then when we do hear these stories about the Sean Combs case, it's all somebody that knew somebody that of something that happened 30 years ago, or people are leeching on to get their 15 minutes of fame or a couple 100,000 off this story because they saw something back in the 80s and 90s, did nothing about it, but now they want to come and sell their story just to be part of this. So at this point, I'm blaming the Department of Justice on why his he is not out on bail like the others are, because there's clearly only one thing that sets them apart, and it's quite evident. And just gonna, it's just causing more and more anger and division. And we are all already on edge, and this is something else that is just going to push people across the board. The way I'm feeling now is just, I think the United States is like the Montgomery Brawl. It's just about to boil over, and there's going to be white folding chairs everywhere. So
Woo.
I blame DOJ right now.
Thank you, Savannah. Katrina, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm with Savannah on this one. I feel like he wasn't convicted of anything, and we got a president elect that was convicted of something and was walking free. We got a president elect that owed people money. We got a president elect that walked around saying he was going to grab women by their privates. We got these people, Amcron and Fitch, which I didn't know about them until I heard that song, Summer Girl, with whatever that group name. He's free, got his passport, but he got an ankle bracelet. And we know for a fact those ankle bracelets can come out. Because the same people that had those PPP loans, they gave them ankle bracelets. They took them off and told their kids good luck, but the folks found them anyway, though, without the ankle bracelets on, so they can come off. So I feel like if all these people are free and out on bail, and like I said, we haven't seen with our own two eyes what they say Diddy did, which not we're not excusing what he's being charged with. We're just saying if they can be out waiting for their trial, then he should be out waiting for their. It should be on equal footing. You can't let one crime go away when they doing both are doing the same thing. You both getting the allegations of doing the same identical thing. So I feel like if they can be out, he can be out, or just keep all of them locked up. If that's how y'all want to play the game, but the way they're playing the game is not fair. It's totally biased. It's not fair at all. And if it was any one of our family members, we'd be feeling the same way, regardless of what our family members did. They still deserve their day in court. Those people, you had Epstein, they was letting him out on the weekends. So, and we know what he was doing. We know what he got convicted of. So I feel like if they can be out on bail and intimidating people, and if Diddy did the same, he got accused the same thing. So I think that he should be out until they convict him of something, because he haven't been convicted yet, y'all. We all going by what we heard, what people saying, and all this type of stuff, and what we seen. We seen this. We have seen him, do that to Cassie. But what these other people have done, we haven't seen that. But still, it's been talked about that they have done it. So I think that he should be out on bail until they take him to trial, or either lock the other ones up as well. That's all I got, Diva.
Thank you. I appreciate you. In my opinion, your thoughts?
Instead of letting them out, why don't we just lock everybody up? Shoot, I'm so tired of these people. I'm tired of this Diddy case. I want all of them to be locked up. I don't think nobody that's being accused is innocent. I don't think where there's smoke, there's fire. So they can go on back here and get Abercrombie and Finch and lock him his behind up, his partner, lock him back up, and he lock all of them up. Maybe these people stop wreaking havoc and use their money for something worthwhile, making the economy better. I'm so tired of these people thinking they got a free ride and they destroying our America, and then we the ones that suffer.
Thank you. In my opinion, Felicia, your thoughts?
Well, good evening, everyone. And right now I've already had 4 Oreo cookies. I was hoping that they was gonna calm me down, and then I ain't calmed down. So, all right, I adore opinion, but I'm gonna say right now, there have been a lot of people falsely accused in this country, convicted and locked up for decades. And because of DNA, many of them have had a second chance and have been freed. And who am I talking about? Central Park 5. They didn't do what they were accused of.
Okay, talk.
Okay? But they were taken in. They were unjustly charged. They were given sentences, long sentences. I believe the average served 6 years. And it wasn't until the person who did it, who was picked up and his DNA was tested, that they were able to have their case reopened, and they were found to be innocent because they always were. And ironically, it is our president-elect who asked that the death penalty be used against them. And even today, when folks says, no, they were exonerated. They're the exonerated 5. He said, oh, no, I know they did something. They did something. No, we know he did something. He was indicted and convicted. He was able to still run for a job, and he got hired. And he's just waiting to go ahead and start on the first day. Now let's get back to Mr. Combs. Due process is part of the Constitution of the United States. And it says in the 6th Amendment that you have the right to know who your accusers are. You have the right to a defense. You have a right to bail. Sometimes they determine whether or not you should get bail or if you should be held. And Diva just read the article. We have people recently who have committed very similar alleged crimes. And they're home or they're out having dinner tonight, and they're engaging with their family and friends. They're making plans. And Mr. Combs is in a jail. And he's not in a regular jail. They did something called an interagency sweep. And when they did this sweep, they found contraband, of which was lots of substances, shanks, ice picks, burner phones. Burner phones. And in fact, one of the people who had a burner phone had used that burner phone to set up a hit to take someone's life who was set to witness and testify against them. Now, this person is locked up in that same jail, and they were able to do that. So they said, well, Mr. Combs was tampering with witnesses. It's my understanding that he didn't know that Don Richard was a witness at the time, nor Kalana Harper. Kalana Harper came forward and said that she was the witness that they have said he was tampering with. But she at the time didn't know that she herself was a witness. So they have to give us something else or someone else. So I think at this point, Mr. Combs is going to win his bail release. He's going to get it. I mean, let's look at this case down there in Atlanta, this YSL case. You started out with 26 defendants. You had 6 on trial just recently. It went very badly. Certain things didn't come into play. Certain things, the star witness didn't do very well. There was mistrials requests, certain legal things that hadn't been followed. and the judge was taken off, and they brought a new judge, and we then had to go to a situation where people were able to take plea deals. So of the 6 who were there, 4 took plea deals, and they're home. Ankle bracelet, whatever, they're home. They're having dinner, they're sleeping in their bed, they're using their own toilet, and 2 are still on trial. I spoke yesterday about the Menendez brothers. The imbalance is too much for me. It's going on right now in this criminal justice system. As I'm following this with all of you and with Diva and on her show and stuff, it's just not balancing for me. I'm really struggling with who gets bail, who gets a fair trial, who doesn't get a fair trial. And I'm grateful that Diva has these discussions, and we do the research here, and we do read the material so we can understand why somebody like a Mike Jeffries, who did such brutal, horrible things, they have 15 John Does, whose legal government names are known, who have come forward and signed affidavits saying these things happened to them. And yet that man went home. So I'm looking, as Diva has said, to due process and fairness. And I hope that it comes to be. I'm done, Diva. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Mr. Hobson, you're up. What are your thoughts?
Good evening, panel. Good evening, everybody. Felicia kind of hit the hammer on the nail. It's like the criminal justice system in our country is it's so jilted, and they pick and choose like who gets due process. See, I like Diddy's new legal team because they're noticing that the feds are starting to misstep. And the biggest misstep, in my opinion, that y'all doing is you're not affording this man due process per the Constitution of the United States of America. Due process. Like, it is baffling to me, like we were talking about the Abercrombie and Fitch CEO and his partner, like, okay, it's amazing to me how if you have a certain privilege or a certain skin color, you can just walk into a courtroom, plead whatever, get a bond, walk out, not surrender a passport. It's just amazing. That's why I like the topic of
You
this
better
whole
talk. You better talk. Not surrender a passport. You
not
better
surrender
talk.
pass nothing. It's just amazing. Like the fact that first of all, they didn't even offer any bail. It was like bail was set. Like this is what we want y'all to pay. This man, pretty much as my granddaddy would say, Diddy offered everything: the kitchen sink, the tiles on the floor, the brooms in the closet, everything to get out of jail, and it was denied twice. I like the topic of this particular show tonight, Wake Up, because people say they woke, but no, a lot of people are really asleep. Like you like hibernation bears in a cave slumbering. Okay, people need to wake up. Like it is so much. I'm just gonna say it is so much white privilege going on. It is like it's frustrating, but then at the same time, it's like if you woke and been woke, it's like I'm not surprised. And then couple that with what happened Tuesday. It's like, okay, what else, ladies and gentlemen, do you need to see? Like what they say, the writing's been on the wall. Like the writing on the wall is on all the walls, like in the house, everywhere. Like I said, I like the new legal team because, like I said, they're starting to point out the inconsistencies with the feds. Like, okay, in my opinion, y'all keep misstepping, he gonna get out. But at the end of the day, per the Constitution that was drafted by the powers that may be, they say, give that man his due process because he's not getting it at all. That's all.
I appreciate you. Wayne, your
Thank you.
thoughts? Are you there, Wayne? If you there, Wayne, we can't hear you. You're on mute. Okay, I don't know what's going on with Wayne. We're not hearing you, Wayne. I'm about to roll into the next story. Are you there? Okay, I'm not sure what's going on with Wayne. We can't hear him, but we're gonna roll into our next story. Like I said, the next story is shocking, because people have been receiving racist texts. Let me go ahead. Hold on one second. I'm going to share screen. All right, let me present. Okay, this is it, I think. Okay, we're going to take a listen.
Reports of racist text messages sent to Black Americans after the presidential election. NBC News correspondent Zincle Esamoah has the latest.
Corinne Freeman was at home with her kids on Wednesday when she got a text from a number she didn't recognize.
It was this odd, ominous feeling text message basically saying, hello, you've been selected to be a slave on a plantation, and you're scheduled to get picked up at 12 a.m. on November 13th.
How did it feel when you got that text message?
Well, I was immediately disturbed.
And she's not alone. Social media sites have been flooded with people from New York to Florida who say they've gotten these racist messages. Freeman and others believe the texts may have been sparked by the current political climate.
I think that this is intentional to scare people of color, Black people, into a reality that we don't want to go back to.
The wording of the texts appear to differ. Some have misspellings, others address individuals by name. But the theme is consistent, telling recipients they've been selected to pick cotton. All of the people NBC News spoke to who got these messages are Black. Several universities confirmed their students have reported receiving the texts. Clemson says they came from numbers associated with online spoofing sites. It remains unclear who is behind the messages. Text Now, which offers free phone numbers online, tells NBC News at least one of its accounts may be involved, writing in a statement in part, "We do not tolerate or condone the use of our service to send harassing or spam messages," adding they shut down the accounts and are working with authorities. For recipients like Corinne Freeman, the digital hate is fueling her real-world concerns.
I am overwhelmed with anxiety and fear about how I'm going to help my children make sense of the world that they have to navigate as Black children.
NBC's Zincle Esamoah with that report. And joining us now, the president and CEO of the NAACP, Derek Johnson. I guess we'll start there and then broaden out. What do you make of these text messages, and what's it signifying in terms of what's to come?
Well, not surprising. If you can recall, when Trump was in office before, we've seen an increase in racial hate crimes. In 1 week alone, attacks on Latinos in El Paso, African Americans in Louisville, and the Jewish community in Pittsburgh, just in a 1 week span with mass shootings. And so we are not surprised that this is taking place. And unfortunately, we are in for 4 years of this.
Rev, your take?
Well, we must remember in the 4 years that Donald Trump was president, that is when George Floyd happened. That's when Breonna Taylor happened. That's when Ahmaud Arbery, probably three of the most memorable racial cases of our time. Mm-hmm. And he said nothing as president. He went in front of a church and lectured the protesters holding up a Bible. And I think that as Derek, as we started getting calls at National Action Network, and I know you were overwhelmed yesterday about these text messages, it brings back this whole feeling of our community under siege. And you've got to remember, Trump just a couple of weeks ago said, well, some slavery could have stayed in. These people are being emboldened and feel empowered with the reelection of Donald Trump. And I think that message didn't get through even to some young Black men because of the anxiety of the economic woes we were dealing with.
Yeah. You know, in terms of the election itself, the Democratic business model is dysfunctional. It's a diminishing return on investment. They emphasize nationalizing the campaign on media buys, and they don't spend enough time on the doors. They don't empower local and state actors. They're not expanding the pie. And so what we have seen over the last 15 plus years is the same playbook and we're getting diminishing returns. But VP, her execution of this campaign was flawless. She did exactly what she was supposed to do.
Absolutely.
But when I got to Pennsylvania, when I was in Atlanta, I realized some gaps there, that the people who were working in the campaign that was hired before the VP was in place, they were disconnected from the communities. And African Americans, we're a reliable voting bloc, but we have to be persuaded. We have to be mobilized. And the model they use is mobilization only and not persuasion. The median age of our community is 32 years old. Think about that. A significant number of individuals, they didn't grow up looking at broadcast news.
Right.
They didn't grow up looking at cable news. They grew up looking at social media platforms that's unregulated, full of mis and disinformation. And so we have to communicate with them differently.
Nailed it. Yeah.
Yeah, no question there. So let's talk big picture. Where does the party go from here? I mean, certainly, Donald Trump tried to court black voters this time around, didn't actually end up having much success. He had major inroads, though, with the Latino population. But what so many voters on the trail, though, and Rev, you've attested to this, is there so many members of the black community who just feel like their vote has been taken for granted. They show up every, the candidate shows up every 4 years. So how can that fundamental dynamic change? How can they feel more included, more part of the process?
One, the black vote should not be taken for granted. We need to have a conversation with the black community, and it's a persuasion conversation. Two, the consultant class gotta be pushed back because they're controlling multi-billion-dollar campaigns with no real accountability and a lot of self-dealings. And so what you find is no infrastructure between elections, individuals being grossly enriched, and the candidates can be perfect. And what happens is, regardless of the candidate, the infrastructure is still in place, and that goes back 15, 20 years. And it's frustrating, to say the least.
I can imagine. President and CEO of the NAACP, Derek Johnson, thank you. I'm so sorry.
Unbelievable. Savannah, your thoughts?
I am deeply disturbed and saddened by these actions that hate groups feel entitled to, and they feel that they're safe right now and feel emboldened to do. I'm puzzled why only African Americans receive these text messages. I think cellular companies who sold this information, or I'm baffled by how they were able to single out only African Americans. Because if the information was sold by a third party, I was trying to research and see if there can be any type of punishment. Although the federal government is investigating these crimes, I think very little amount of American citizens believe in the justice system and in the authorities to do anything that will bring any type of resolve. But these organizations operate in instilling fear, and because most of us are numb and in our emotions, whether it's anger, disbelief, disheartened over the election results, they know we are distracted now, and they found a way to strike. I was on a platform last night of Latinos, and where the moderators were extremely upset, and they had voters for both sides on there, and their reasoning on this, and they were telling them, be prepared, because you are target number one. Your families will be target number one. And a lot of, and it resonated with one or two of the older people on the stage there last night. But I don't know. It just seems this is so sad. It breaks my heart, and I've said it. I've operated this whole week, even before the election. I just felt a sense of things were turning, and it had more fear in it than hope. And I've been doing a lot of praying and meditating lately, and I haven't seen any news. I've tried to stay away from the news, and just trying to make sense of all where we are as a people, and how do we stay um, in our power. That's all I have to do.
Thank you, Savannah. Felicia, your thoughts?
Thank you, Diva. So I want to go a little bit, a little back a little bit. Okay?
Sure, of course.
So we're talking about these texts. I happen to know someone who received the text before this story went national, and the person was identified by their government name. And because they had been identified by their government name, I deducted that some form of the government records or database had been hacked, and they were able to determine gender and ethnicity in some manner. And this is how they were able to get the names of Black African American women to target with these threatening, racist, demeaning, hurtful texts. It is not by accident, in my opinion, that they chose Black American women. Since the Civil Rights Movement, since the Queen, the mother of all, Coretta Scott King, whose bravery and courage stood by, supported, led many of the marches in the movement. We have, what's her name? Myrlie Evers. We have labor leaders throughout history. The women have stood strong, have endured, have persevered, have stayed true to the political component of power. And even in the face of all of the opposition in 2008, 2012, 2016, 2020, and 2024, Black women keep believing, and we keep hoping, and we keep standing and fighting back. And I believe that they are now being personally targeted for that position, for that faith, for that work, for that commitment. So I am not surprised. I am not shocked. I am not numb. We have been the most consistent for all people, for civil rights, for human rights in this country. The enslaved African, with no compensation and without giving any kind of dignity, built this country. We gave birth to our children on plantations and land, and we kept working because we had to. We kept believing and holding on, and we will continue to do so. So I'm not surprised. They've come for the best. They come for the smartest. They come for the most cohesive group in this country right now that is still clear on their convictions and their goals as to what must happen. I am deeply sorry to all those who have received this. I firmly believe this is just the beginning. I believe it's going to become more vicious and more violent and more dangerous. So collectively, I believe we need females, women, our children, and those men who believe and love us and support us need to stand together. It's self-preservation. It's family first. I know. I used to be empathetic and sympathetic and cohesive when we all got to go. That was 3 days ago. I'm not there no more. I left that. So that's what I believe. So they're coming for us first in text. So we now know they decided that our sisters are the ones they're going to come after first because we are the strongest. We are the most committed to political capital than any other group. And that's what we have left in each other and for our family and for our children. So it's going to get worse, but we're going to get and stand together and be better. And we're going to strategize and we're going to self-persevere with our families, with our children, and each other. I'm done.
Thank you, Felicia. Wayne, your thoughts?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, well, I agree with Felicia. I was going to say the same thing. It's just begun. The mere fact by him being reelected, it's going to open up the floodgates. And I think it allowed them to be able to show themselves more quickly. So I think for 4 years, it's going to be a rough ride. And we're going to have some defending to do, because anytime, even where I live at, they had a boat parade, and going down down Tampa Bay, make America white again, flying with the swastika sign, using the N-word. It's just opened it up that people are going to verbally. I mean, black men, we have to be careful. I know a lot of times, on the YouTube things, you see where like a black person gets stopped and it says, and they want their license or whatever. He said, for what? And he violates the driver's rights. And you quoting, you don't have the right to search, blah, 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 blah. Now that and he said it about giving immunity to police officers, I don't think we're going to have the luxury to be able to say we know the law.
Nope.
I'm not saying coward out or anything like that, but I'm just saying I don't think we're going to have the luxury, because they won't be held accountable for whatever happens or how it happened. So I'm just saying, to the black men, women as well, just be careful. Just be careful, because I think it's just the beginning. I think it's just the beginning. And as far as with Diddy, he's due a process just like everybody else. However, with the judicial system, I think Diddy is still in jail because somebody is getting paid to make sure he stays there. That's more powerful than Diddy. However, I think if they don't give him bail, there's going to be a partiality. And yes, I'm going to say it's a race thing. It's a black and white thing if he doesn't get bail. I'm done.
Appreciate you. Thank you. E, your thoughts?
Well, I knowed it. And I told y'all the other night when when the foolishness appeared on the panel, I said, we need some answers, because I knew that things were only going to get worse. And as soon as we dropped down, remember, Diva, I told you that these texts were going around, and somebody on the panel said that they received one, right?
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't even 24 hours after the presidential elect of the former twice impeached and convicted felon Donald John Dump that these series of texts went out to people who are registered as African American or Black in what I would think the voting registry.
Okay.
Mm.
I heard what was said earlier about the names, but I also feel like, no, I feel like somebody has some information. And these text messages went out stating that these group of people who received the message, they were selected to pick cotton. And they would be picked up in a brown van by an executive slave. And it was not even 24 hours later this happened. And I want to talk about that term executive slave or
Mm.
bottom B to the white overseer. And I want to talk about that for a moment because it ties back into what I mentioned the other day when I said 50% of Latinos who voted for Trump, they, they have to be held accountable. They said that was a record number of Latinos that helped usher Trump towards the finish line. And to that, they are house slaves too, in my opinion. The Don told us that night he's had personal conversations and that these people are white adjacent, uppity, I would say. They are far blind that they don't even consider themselves in the same predicament of as being enslaved and at the bottom, which is exactly what Trump's and his MAGA base considers them to be. All of this, I believe it was mentioned, well, Latino people work some of the worst jobs in the country that nobody else wants. I want people to understand these are the jobs which Donald Trump and his base feel you deserve. That's what you're worth to these people. So that mistake was made. And all the black folks who supported Trump and hashtag ninjas for Trump, bought his sneakers and laughed at him selling versions of the Bible and voted for Trump just to give the middle finger to the black woman so that we would not advance any further. They have successfully bit their nose to spite their face. And people said it on the video when you just played the footage tonight. I said the same thing Wednesday night. What did the man say, Diva? He said, Donald, when he was first elected in 2016, hate crimes and the reporting of discrimination more than quadrupled in the United States. That's what I told y'all on Wednesday. The man reiterated and echoed what we already have known and understood, but somehow people have forgotten. Again, not even 24 hours after the election results were announced, this bullcrap is starting again. And I believe this man who was speaking, the black man, he's the head of the NAACP. Is that right, Diva? That was speaking on film?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What stood out to me is him saying, you know, Kamala's campaign staffers did not do a good job of convincing black people to vote for her. And what I translated that to be was, it is not enough persuasion for a white man to threaten you with giving police full immunity. It's not enough persuasion for a white man to threaten to hike up the taxes on the middle class, void the federal Department of Education, and roll back federal anti-discrimination labor laws. All of this notion that the text need to be reported to whom? It will not be anyone to report it to come January, because Dump wants to remove anything that prohibits hate speech, discrimination, or diversity, because in MAGA language, it translates to anti-white. He said that. It's in the writing. It's in Project 2025. And like Felicia said, this is only the beginning. They're coming for the black women first because black women are the backbone of our community. We lead, we support, we teach, we fight back. And the nerve that one of us had the audacity to run for president, we've colored too far outside of the lines now. Now, a reckoning is coming. They did this. I believe I saw it on Underground. You separate the black man and the black woman, which is essentially what this election did. They've been playing gender wars with us since he announced he was rerunning again. And all of this social media tactic, pitting woman against man, black woman against black man. And then you break down the black woman, you break down the black man, you put this in front of the children so that they know and that they see this is what happens when you try to buck against the system. That's what they're showing us. And so, like Felicia said, the only way to overcome this will be self-preservation. Let's hold the line tight. Keep the non-contributors, the untrustworthy, and the non-committed away from our business so that our secrets are not revealed. And not only do we have to fight back physically, economically, and be strategic, but also we have to fight back spiritually. All cylinders, ladies.
Whew. Thank you, E. Mr. Hobson, your thoughts?
Good evening, everybody. Again, Miss E, you on fire, girl, and Miss Felicia. So eloquently said, we are this. I'm just, I'm like, it started. Like everybody was saying, like I'm like, well, damn, y'all didn't even wait like till January. Like y'all waited literally like 2 days after the election, and like it's starting already, ladies and gentlemen. Like title of this chat, wake up. Like I like how you said we got to stand firm. Like we got a lot of as a party, as a people, we got to like bring it in privately. Like she said, we got to keep everything to the vest at this point. We got to re-strategize. Like things are about to really get. It's about to be like a snow globe. Things are really about to get shook up. Like it's about to be a lot of. Like I told somebody today at dinner, it's going to be a lot of disappointed people. Like I don't think people really see the gravitas of how things are really about to get bad, especially for black and brown people. Again, especially for black and brown people. Like, my thing is, if you're going to you be due diligent and trying to find the individual or individuals who started these texts, created these texts, were in collusion with other individuals or parties with these texts, IP address, etc. It needs to be done before January 20th, 2025. Okay? Because if it ain't done, figured out, we got clues to who did it, or we're about to arrest the individuals who did it and really make a stance on this, then it's gonna fall on. It's gonna be done. It's gonna be like it never happened. Come January, like to 42 years old on this earth, God be the glory. I'm petrified. I can actually say that. I'm petrified of because at the end of the day, I feel everyone on this panel is very intelligent. So when we just look at everything like moving forward in January, let's say January 20th, that man raises his hand and says, I do solemnly swear. And then, excuse my language, the bullshit really starts. Like, I just was telling my mom tonight, literally, y'all, like, the only time I could actually say in my life that I was petrified was when I was battling cancer, and now I'm cancer free. But
God be the glory.
right, thank you. This right here is like someone said earlier, like I haven't really been watching the news or like taking in too much media since Tuesday. And when I heard that, like maybe moments ago, I'm like, oh my God, it's like they dancing in my head. Like I've been on the same tip. Like because it was already getting exhausting. We all can say that. Like when it got to the wire of now it's election day, because we all were over the campaign ads and just the back and forth, and just it's like I want to pray. I don't want to say pray for my people. I want to pray for everybody because, like I said, I don't think no one is going to get what they want or what they felt like they're going to get by voting for this man. Period. That's all I want to say. Ugh.
Thank you. Katrina, your thoughts?
Now you know you don't want to know my thoughts. Oh my God. I agree with everybody on the panel. But it didn't come from the voting registration or anything of who people voted for. The reason why I say that is because I know a 13-year-old received a text like that. And when her mom responded to the text, they told her they was going to come pick her up and whip her on site.
Oh my God.
They going to lash her on site. They called somebody else I know. They told them, pull up. I'm waiting for you. And we'll see how fast you get back to that little black van that you came to pick them up on. So it's not from no voting sites. like Felicia said, some type of way, or Savannah said, some type of way, they snuck in and hacked in the system to get these people. And I said again, they didn't send it to no men. They only sent it to black women, black young girls that weren't even old enough to vote. So I don't know how they got into the system to get this done and how they figure out who was what race and who, I mean, if that person was a black woman or not. But some type of way they figured that out. And it didn't come from no voting registry. Couldn't be. Because the ones that got it, and some of the ones that got it, they're too young to even vote. So either their information and stuff have been sold, somebody hacked the system, or it probably coming from the government. And they only do it now after in the afternoon, in the evenings. So whoever is doing it, they got a job or whatever they doing in the daytime or going to school or whatever they doing. Because the messages only come out around about 5 or 6 o'clock in the evenings. And it's totally sad that they let this man hoodwink the mess out of them. The people in Pennsylvania, while they voted for him, their company told them that they're not getting a Christmas bonus this year unless they buy enough merchandise before January the 21st, or they're not going to get a Christmas bonus. They weren't even smart enough to think the tariff. They thought the tariffs were going to be going to be paid by the foreign company, the foreign country. They thought that they didn't have to pay the tariffs. They thought that that China was going to pay the tariffs. They got hoodwinked. And as people said on this panel before, he loved the poorly uneducated. Them the ones that he loved. And you look at the Proud Boys. You look at all these people, and you got some smart ones that vote for him, but they're not smart enough to know that you got hoodwinked. Him and Elon got a strategy coming. I know y'all don't want to hear what I have to say, but they have a strategy. Elon Musk is real close to him because what they're going to try to do, they're going to try to replace the American people with robots. Something that can work all day, don't take no break, don't have to go to sleep, don't have to do anything. They can get these robots in here to do all this stuff. They got robots now that can take care of your child. They got robots now that can clean your house. They got robots now that working in these factories that's taking your jobs. And they're gonna keep getting them because they're cheaper to maintain. They don't have to have no health insurance. They don't have to take vacations. They don't have to do anything. So it's a strategy to get Trump back in there because he knows that he can manipulate him into doing exactly what he wants to do. Because why was Putin and Elon Musk on the phone together? That's a little odd, but we will see. And for the people that coming in the black vans, the white vans, the brown vans, and trying to put people on plantation C, D, and F, you gonna pull up to the wrong house. You might not even have no ties when you leave. You might not even have no legs when you leave. But what I'm
Baby.
just saying is,
Ugh.
you
Detroit.
might not have, you have no
Detroit.
idea about
Mm-mm.
these people
No.
that I know got these texts and how they feel in the inside. And I know one person when they found out this person got a text or whatsoever, they sent that person a prayer to try to calm that person down, and that person appreciated that. And Dave, I'm glad that you brought this story out because a lot of more people need to know about this story. Which like Savannah said, she haven't been seeing the news or anything like that, so she didn't even know this was going on. But this is a sad situation that you're trying to threaten not only adult women, but you're threatening kids, and that's crazy. Even though you know the kid's probably saying, "Well, that's not gonna happen," but you don't know what's going through a kid mind, thinking somebody saying they're gonna come pick somebody up in these vans, and you know what the vans are like. The white vans, the people was kidnapping kids to get their organs. The black vans was kidnapping kids for S trafficking. So you don't know what these kids are doing, or they gonna be on edge. They don't know, you know what I'm saying? They don't know if this gonna happen for real. They don't know. But I guarantee you, if you play with one of mine or play with somebody that I know, it's gonna go down. One of us might not make it out. but I'm not going to the boneyard. So if you pull up to the right house, you will see what happened. That's all I got.
Thank you, Katrina. Tay, your thoughts?
Well, hello, everybody. Good evening. And you know what, Katrina, I agree you about the robot too. Let's pray and hope that ain't gonna happen. That few years to go, because God help us all, and this is gonna happen right here. Now about the text thing, people, this is real right here. This is no game. This is real. Everything is real. We hear about this on the TV show, right, Diva? Oh, about the R word. It exists right here. We all see that. I'm just I'm just like, we going back, way back in the time when our ancestor had to deal with all that stuff right there. And now we got this president, as he call him, the dog, whatever his name is, and he be the
Donald
president. Was that E?
Donald Duck.
Donald Duck, who is back to the president again. Thanks to the ones that who vote for him, now we have to suffer again. The struggle is real. It is real. We have to suffer. We suffer again. And this what we want for our kids to look at how we back where we was when our ancestor, back where our ancestor had to deal with that stuff, just like in the Martin Luther King back in those days.
Preach, Tay Tay.
Do we really, really want that? Do we really, really want that? I refuse to go back in those times. And now this day right here, it's like we live in a backward world that we in now, because of all this right here. And now we have to hear the N word, the M word right here, because of this right here. I know we all get tired about this right here. We all is getting tired. We must stand our ground, stay our ground. Do we want a better future for our kids and their kids and their kids? All of that for the generation. Do we really want to go do it? Are we going to stay together or we not? Because this fool right here is dividing every day, just like he came for the president right there. The first time he did. This dude don't care about us. He care about ka-ching, and he always said, I am 50 rich. 50 rich. Because I don't want him be a president. And I'll tell you, Diva, when I vote for Kamala Harris, I vote her right there. And I'm disappointed for everybody who vote for this fool right here. Shame on you and shame on you. You will read what you sold for a vote for this dude right here. That's all, Diva.
Thank you, Tay. Lakeisha, your thoughts?
Hey, Diva, thank you for having me on.
Thank
So, no problem. So, I just had to come on because I wanted to come on yesterday. And when I saw the text I read the article about these texts, it just enraged me and I couldn't believe it was happening. But just to pose a question to you and the panel. So, I work in a company that's, mainly most of the people in the top voted for Trump. And I was on the way with a trip with my VP, and I think this was about September when Kamala was out there campaigning. And so he asked me, well, what do you think? And I said, well, I think she's going to be good for the people. She's a better candidate, blah, blah, blah. He said, well, I just don't think she's good for policy or economics. But I think Trump, he'll be best. And I said, well, I just don't think he's best because when he was president, the nation was divided. Everybody was, calling people's names, blah, blah, blah. And he said something like, well, racism is going to be there. It happens. It's not going anywhere. We just have to deal with it. So when he said that, it brought up a question in my mind. Do we work with these people? Like, how could they vote for them if they know it's going to hurt us? Like, do they really care about us? Or what's the question? So I asked my coworker, and he said, because the people in the top of my company, they're super sweet. They would give me the clothes off their back. They would do anything. I think of these people as my family. But when he said that, I was just like, how could you vote for somebody that is going to cause me disrespect, that I might get called names? And my other coworker said, well, it's because they want to work with us, but they don't want us at the top. And so we had a conference call today, and our CEO said, well, let's not let this election divide us. We're all one country, we're one team, we all work together. And I was so frustrated because I was thinking, well, you're not the one that's going to get the text. Are you ready to start picking cotton? Or you're not the one that's going to be called names. So I just would like to pose that question to you guys because I've been battling with it, like, especially after seeing the map in red. Do these people really care about us? Or, what's your opinion on that? Or how could they vote that way if they know this is what's going to happen to us and then tell us they care about us?
Ooh. E, it seemed like you came off of mute. What do you want to say?
Oh yeah, baby, they're not super sweet. We gotta stop thinking that just because they're polite, they're super sweet. I love you to pieces, but no, they voted for this. They knew what was going to happen. They want this to happen. All of that red on the map. Yes, we work with these people. These people are on the highway. These people are the ones causing all kinds of havoc in the grocery stores. These are the people who are also receiving what do you call this stuff? Public assistance. It's more white people on public assistance than it is black people on public assistance. They want to take everything and give us nothing. Have you ever driven through a well-to-do neighborhood and notice how all of the people who live there, sometimes most of them are non-black? Why is it in this country do we think that all of the people at the top of these companies are non-black? How can that be? They have stolen, they have ripped people off of ideas, they've successfully what's the word I'm looking for? They have pushed all of the resources towards one end of the scale so that it benefits them for generations and generations and generations. And then whenever black people, we try to do something and band together and do something for black people, it somehow gets squandered away or it gets burned down like Black Wall Street. They don't want us to be independent of them. They need us to work for them. They need us to work under them because they need somebody to oppress. That is how this country stays in business. Racism is built within our economy. And if you take that away, then a lot of white people won't have the things that they have.
I agree, E. And it just opened my eyes to see that most of these people, we have no cultural sensitivity in most of these workplaces because if it was there, how could he even fix his mouth to say that at the opening of the Zoom meeting that we're all one team, we're all one country? Because everybody's seeing what's going on. So
Yeah,
obviously
so
we're
did
not
your intelligence.
right. We're not one team, and I'm black. I mean, I'm the talent acquisition manager, so I'm pretty much up there with them too. But at the same time, I'm just like, how could you even say that? Because you're not the one that's gonna. If you got pregnant, you don't have to worry about what you would do if you got raped. I'm the one that has to worry about that, not you.
But before Felicia, I know you want to jump in. I just want to say one thing. Miss Lakeisha, kudos to you for being bold enough to ask the question and put him on the spot in a professional and caring way. Because a lot of people would not have even had the guts to ask the question. Kudos to you for that.
Oh,
She
Felicia,
dropped
you
out.
want to jump in?
Well, I didn't want to jump in. I'm concerned for Lakeisha. I've been working in the American workplace for 4 or 5 decades now. Come on. Those people don't give a damn about you. I'm confused as she confused. I really am. You consider these people family? No, these are your employers. This is where you go to do a job, where you go to be compensated. And certainly, if you hear people's political views and you come into challenge, well, you must be ready to move forward. And she's talent acquisition? I don't think it's wise that she's asking any of her coworkers anything about any people's feelings. Maybe you ask about policy, but not about feelings. And I certainly would hope that if she now knows where she's working and she wants better, or she thinks there's better out there, that she puts her own CV or resume out there and seek other employment. I'm astounded that someone would go to a job, anybody, irregardless of race or gender, or any, that you would think that these people actually truly care about you and that they're family. Maybe I've worked too many places where I've just seen it day in and day out there. Cutthroat is who's going to make the most money, who's going to get the most time off, and who is going to be able to hold on when the economy goes bad.
Felicia, just to step in real quick for E, thank you for that. But I didn't pose that question in the Zoom meeting, just to make that clear. I didn't do that. I was no, I didn't. I was talking. I posed it back when it first happened to someone that I'm close to, that I work with, because we well, just to be frank, we shared the same sentiment. We were both voting for Kamala. And it was just a question. I was like, well, these people, they would give us a shirt off their back, but I couldn't understand how a person could just brush off racism and say, well, racism is going to be there. It's not going to go away. We just have to deal with it. And I was just like, you don't have to deal with it. I do. That's what I was saying in my mind.
Okay, well, darling, continue to come on lives, talk to your friends, talk to your real family, but don't discuss it at work anymore. That's the best free counsel you're going to get for the rest of this year.
Yep.
Because when it comes time now to restructure or realign or lay off or let go, they're going to come look for you to be the one that's gone, because that's what it comes down to. Who's not going, who gets to stay.
Yep.
Even if you hinted at some possibility of disappointment, then someone can create a narrative that Lakeisha's not happy here. You don't want that to be.
Yeah, I never did that.
You want to leave how you want to leave, not having other people create your exit for you. Okay?
I agree. Yep, totally.
Okay.
So I want to add, and for the people that on this panel that know me, they know, I want to add and say this, that I too, like Lakeisha, I had similar, but but I learned the hard way throughout the years. But I had similar settlements as I was growing up and working in the workplace. Yes, I felt like they were my family and friends. Listen, we spend a major portion of our time in life at work. And sometimes people have many faces. I'm actually glad you came up and posed this question so that we can have this broader discussion. There's many faces at work. And I was confused a major portion of my work life, feeling like they love me, they like me, they're my family, they're my friends, they care about me. And I'm doing broad. I'm doing about all jobs that I had throughout my lifetime. And y'all know I'm 54. So when we get to have conversations like this and get educated, it helps us all. And the reason why I say that is your family, no matter how smart and loving your parents are, your family, some things you do have to learn from others, right? And so it takes a village, to me, your whole entire life. even at, they like to say my big age, 54, there's conversation that I have with people sometimes, and I'm still learning. And I'm like, oh, shoot, you right. Okay, I get it. I understand what you're saying. So I do understand how, because of maybe some interactions you have at work, because of the way you get close to people, because all of us have different things in which we say in our mind, oh, this person cares about me, right? So I connected to you while you was talking, Lakeisha, because it's like, wow, if you care about me and you like me, how could you do X, Y, Z? But to go to what Felicia is saying, I understand and I connect to the conversation, but I had to learn that the hard way throughout my working career. I did not I walked into the work world and into life very naive, and it kicked me in my behind at work. And what you wrote in that chat, that's what my sister told me all the time. She said, girl, when you gonna wake up and realize they ain't your friend, and then maybe you gonna get your life together. But yes, I walked into the work world very naive, and I got my butt kicked. I got beat down. Okay. I had black eyes, and I don't mean literally. Y'all get what I'm saying. I had black eyes, concussions. I passed out, all kinds of stuff, because I walked into the work world so naive. But I have to say, like Felicia said, this is where you make your money. It is maybe, and listen, one of my very good friends to this day that I go on vacation with, her daughter and my son are like 6 months apart, something like that. They are like brother and sister. So I'm not saying you can't ever meet a good friend at work, but it's rough. But all I'm trying to say, because I know I'm all over the place right now, because my emotions are all up in me when y'all start to talk about this work thing. But I will say, Lakeisha, I connect with you, because that was me, a major portion of my work life. And to friends and family, they had to beat me down and beat in my head and to let me know, I don't know when you're going to get it. But unfortunately, some of these individuals are not your friends. Yeah. I got stabbed in the back by people I really thought were my friends in the workplace. It's a battle zone in some of these workplaces, and I'm not saying all. I don't know if anybody else wanted to say something before anybody else wanted to add to the conversation.
Thank you, Diva.
Yeah. No, I did. I ain't gonna lie to you. I gotta tell the truth and shame the double. I got beat down. I got beat down a lot. And I realized that, you got to watch yourself. And maybe one day we will have a conversation, especially for the younger individuals that are coming into the workplace. I want to start having some educational conversations about how to navigate in this world, so that you are not bumping up against the same wars that we have. Okay, when I say we, I'm talking about the ones that have been there, done that. Maybe we can help you navigate a little better, so that you won't hit those walls, and maybe you might hit new walls. But then, that saying, each one teach one. But yeah, no, I've been beat down in the workplace. Yes, I have.
If I may, Diva, I'd like to address Lakeisha before we end.
Sure.
Lakeisha, if whatever your choices are going forward, if you decide not to speak so openly with your heart, and I appreciate it, okay? But they're not going to appreciate it in the workplace. You don't know me, I don't know you, but I need you to hear what I'm trying to convey here. Don't pull back right away, because they'll know that you're starting to understand that you're not loved as much, you're not as appreciated as much, that maybe, and I'm not trying to offend, sis, I'm not, but you're filling a number, a quota, you're an opportunity, you seem to fit in with the culture of the place, and that's a good thing, because that's a skill and a resource. I don't know anybody who is a woman or who is of color or who is of something different that hasn't had to do that in the American workplace. So I'm not saying go in there next week and say, I know you MFers and I know what y'all about. No, You still be your wonderful, pleasant, loving self. You minimize any kind of controversy. You begin to not engage. You say good morning and the food is great and the weather wonderful. But when you're on these trips, you're still at work. Just because you're outside of the office does not mean you are not at work. So you always stay on code. You always be that professional. Not too much to the left, not too much to the right.
Thank you, Felicia. That's great advice.
Please do that. Protect yourself. Because why we go to work is because we're going there to be paid. And why do we want to get paid? Because we want to have a certain quality of life. And so does everybody else. If they send a memo out on Monday that starting from now until Donnie J is sworn in, everybody's working for free, ain't nobody coming back on Tuesday. They're not coming in there to work for free. Okay? But that's where they want us to be, feeling indebted and so glad and I'm accepted. It's BS. It really is. So you keep doing what you do. Be thoughtful, be mindful, be courteous, be professional. But understand they're not your friends. You didn't go there to make friends, I don't think. You went there to earn a fair, competitive wage and to do an outstanding job. And that's what you do.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I appreciate you, Felicia, as always. You know it. I want to thank y'all for being here. Does anybody else before I close out want to say
Yeah,
anything?
I want to say something, Diva. I just want everybody to out here on the panel, on the train, everywhere that people can hear us. I need y'all to use all your 8 senses, not just the 5. Use the other 3 along as well. And when you get up in the morning, pray to God or who your higher power is, and ask Him to order your steps in His Word to keep you on the straight and narrow, to keep you safe and keep you protected. Because we got some nuts out here, some nuts that just sit around and wait to intimidate people just to cause chaos. And you already know chaos is from the demonic world. So just stay prayed up, use all your senses, and navigate this crazy world because these people out here, they don't care about nobody. They don't even care about themselves. So all I can do is tell y'all just stay prayed up, watch your surroundings, just pay attention, and use all of your 8 senses. That's all.
I want to say this. Go ahead. Somebody wanted to say something.
Yeah, and I just want to make sure I can get your services, Diva, about this 2 weeks vacation and this stipend for lunch, please. Thank you.
You're welcome. I want to say this too, because, we're supposed to speak goodness over our life and out in the atmosphere. I want to say this, that from this moment and over the next 4 years and even beyond, I want everybody to prosper. I want all of us to reap good benefits and not let this current situation get you depressed or down. Just for me, when COVID happened, first of all, I didn't believe, because listen, I'm that girl, you got to keep knocking me upside the head. When they was like, oh, you better go buy your paper towel, your toilet tissue, your this and that, because we're not going to be able to go outside. Stop it. We ain't going to get locked down. That ain't going to happen. And when we got locked down, I was in shock, right? And friends and my family was meet me on the highway to come get tissue, toilet tissue, paper towel, whatever. But I told my son during that time, don't be watching the news. One thing I learned about the news, you can't do anything about it. It's just going to depress you more. So I'm going to say to everybody, to the best of your ability, keep your head up. Stay in the light, look towards the light. And as Katrina said, whoever you believe in, you pray to that. Pray to that person. Pray to your beliefs day and night. We're going to get through this. This too shall pass. Let's stay in the light. Let's continue to have fun together. And I was so grateful when I found this YouTube because I really have fun and I enjoy having these conversations with y'all no matter which way they go. Sometimes they get heated, sometimes they go left, and we don't always agree, and we don't always have to agree. That's the beauty of, just embracing everybody. But I want to thank y'all for coming through tonight, hanging out with me on this Friday night. It's a great conversation. Lakeisha, you came through and you posed a good question. And I appreciate you. I appreciate everybody. So listen, guys, if y'all didn't hit the like button coming in, y'all know the routine. Don't cheat the diva. Hit the like button on the way out. Good night and goodbye, everybody.
Come on, take
Do
it.
not cheat do not cheat the diva. Choo choo and fifi. Thank you.
Thanks. Oh, God.